Former Ohio State standout and current Washington Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin has become a central figure in trade speculation as contract negotiations between him and the Commanders continue to stall. While both parties have expressed a desire to come to terms on a long-term extension, recent reports suggest that meaningful progress has been limited, opening the door to the possibility of a high-profile trade involving one of the NFL's most consistent and explosive pass catchers. At the heart of these trade rumors lie two AFC teams, the New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers, both of whom are in urgent need of elite wide receiver talent and could benefit tremendously from McLaurin's arrival. Terry McLaurin is coming off a standout season in which he posted 82 receptions, 1,096 receiving yards, and 13 touchdowns, cementing his place among the league's premier wideouts. His performance was particularly impressive given the context in which it occurred, playing with a rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels, and in an offense that at times lacked rhythm and consistency. Despite these challenges, McLaurin remained the Commanders' most reliable offensive weapon, constantly drawing double coverage and still managing to produce week after week. His route running, contested catch ability, and leadership presence have made him an indispensable part of the Commanders' offense over the past few seasons. Yet as McLaurin enters the final year of his current deal, frustrations have reportedly begun to mount. Though the Commanders publicly maintain that they want to keep McLaurin in the fold long-term, the lack of progress in contract talks has raised eyebrows throughout the league. McLaurin is believed to be seeking a deal that reflects his production and market value, likely in the range of $25 to $30 million annually. For a two-time Pro Bowler who has consistently produced despite inconsistent quarterback play, that price tag is justifiable. But for a team that is in the early stages of a rebuild and still evaluating its future at several key positions, it's a difficult financial pill to swallow. Should the Commanders ultimately decide that they cannot or will not meet McLaurin's contract demands, a trade becomes not just a possibility, but perhaps a necessity. Allowing McLaurin to walk in free agency next year without receiving proper compensation would be a failure of asset management. With that in mind, multiple teams have reportedly inquired about his availability, with the Patriots and Steelers emerging as the most serious suitors. In New England, the need for a game-breaking wide receiver is dire. After a disappointing offensive campaign last year, the Patriots are attempting to retool their unit around second-year quarterback Drake May, who showed flashes of potential in his rookie season but lacked a consistent go-to-target. The current receiver room, led by Juju Smith-Schuster, Kendrick Bourne, and rookie Jalen Polk, lacks a true number one option. McLaurin would change that immediately. His presence would not only give May a reliable deep threat and possession receiver, but would also open up opportunities for other playmakers and keep defenses honest. Moreover, pairing a young quarterback with a veteran receiver of McLaurin's caliber can be the difference between stagnation and breakout success. It's a strategy that has worked elsewhere. See Stephon Diggs with Josh Allen, or A.J. Brown with Jalen Hurts. New England could be hoping for a similar trajectory with May and McLaurin. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Steelers present an equally compelling landing spot. The team made waves earlier this offseason by acquiring star wideout DK Metcalf in a surprise trade with the Seahawks, giving quarterback Aaron Rodgers a massive target and physical presence on the outside. However, the Steelers then traded away George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys, a move that, while perhaps necessary from a locker room standpoint, left the offense with only one proven boundary receiver. For a team that is clearly in win-now mode with Rodgers under center, relying on unproven receivers like Calvin Austin III or rookie Roman Wilson as WR2S would be a high-risk proposition. McLaurin would be the ideal complement to Metcalf. Where Metcalf brings raw athleticism and power, McLaurin offers route precision, agility, and field awareness. Together, they would form one of the most formidable receiving duos in the league. Beyond the on-field fit, McLaurin's leadership would be welcomed in both locker rooms. In Washington, he has consistently been praised for his professionalism, work ethic, and maturity, even as the team cycled through quarterbacks and endured front office turmoil. He's the kind of player young teammates gravitate toward, and his presence would be particularly valuable in New England, where the team is trying to establish a new culture post-Belichick. The Patriots, now led by head coach Jared Mayo, are attempting to blend the old-school discipline of the Belichick era with a modern, player-friendly approach. A veteran like McLaurin could serve as a bridge between those two identities. In Pittsburgh, McLaurin's temperament would mesh well with head coach Mike Tomlin's philosophy of accountability and grit. He's a player who leads by example, doesn't demand the spotlight, and simply produces exactly the kind of character Tomlin values. Financially, both teams have the means to make a deal work. The Patriots currently have one of the most favorable cap situations in the NFL and could absorb McLaurin's current contract without major restructuring. They also have the flexibility to extend him immediately and build the deal around May's rookie contract window. The Steelers, while tighter on cap space, could free up room through restructures and cuts, and the appeal of maximizing their investment in Aaron Rodgers could justify the cost. In both cases, the willingness to part with draft capital, likely a second-round pick or a package of Day 2 and Day 3 selections, would be the critical component. The potential departure of McLaurin would be a significant blow to Washington's offense. He has been the team's most reliable offensive player over the past 4 years, amassing over 4,800 receiving yards and 27 touchdowns during that span. But the Commanders are a team in transition. With Jaden Daniels entering his second year and new offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury looking to install a more aggressive passing attack, there's a chance the front office decides to reload with younger, cheaper options at wideout, especially after drafting multiple receivers in recent years. Trading McLaurin now, while his value is still high, would align with the team's long-term vision, even if it hurts in the short term. There's also the question of McLaurin's own priorities. At 28 years old, he is in the prime of his career. Having spent the entirety of his NFL tenure with a franchise that has yet to establish consistent winning habits, he may welcome a move to a more stable, competitive environment. While he has never publicly expressed dissatisfaction with Washington, his lack of a new deal and the emergence of trade rumors suggest that he is at least open to the idea of a change. A move to a contender like Pittsburgh or a historic franchise like New England could rejuvenate his career and give him the opportunity to compete in meaningful postseason games, something that has eluded him thus far. For fans of both the Patriots and Steelers, the idea of landing McLaurin is tantalizing. In New England, it would signal a true commitment to developing May and reestablishing the Patriots as an offensive threat. In Pittsburgh, it would be the final piece in what has become one of the most aggressive off-seasons in recent team history, a bold push to get Rodgers the tools he needs for one last run at glory. Both teams have the urgency. Both have the need. And both have the opportunity. As for the Commanders, the coming weeks will be critical. If a deal is to be made, it likely happens before training camp begins. That would give McLaurin time to integrate into a new system and allow Washington to recalibrate their offense around their younger players. Holding onto him without an extension, however, runs the risk of locker room tension and a potential franchise tag scenario in 2026, one that neither side seems eager to entertain. Only time will tell whether Terry McLaurin is catching passes from Jaden Daniels, Drake May, or Aaron Rodgers this fall. But as the days pass and negotiations remain stagnant, the likelihood of a blockbuster trade grows stronger. And if it happens, it will reshape the trajectory of three franchises, one losing a cornerstone, and two hoping they just landed the missing piece.